Welcome to the Week 2 RGVSports.com podcast webcast. I am Brian Sandalo, and we've got a real big group of people here talking about high school football. We've got our usual suspect here, Todd Orodanker, who covers District 35A. We've got Dennis Silva, who covers District 32-4A, and we've got football reporter emeritus / Monitor sports editor Peter Rasmussen. And since the last time we spoke, there was a fairly big football game in San Benito. None of us covered it, but led to Harlingen losing to San Benito 7-3 and led to quite the controversy in our top 10. So I'll let Todd take it from here. What did you think of all the reaction to seeing Harlingen staying in our top 10 poll, albeit as a number 10 team?
Oh, not a big deal. Just people enjoying high school football.
Enjoying? Is that the word?
Maybe going a little bit overboard, but that comes with the territory, and that's part of what makes high school football in Texas so big and fun and a little bit crazy, is that everybody has their opinions and they hold them and they enjoy expressing them, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I'll go with crazy.
Crazy's not a bad word.
Now, you're a voter in the poll. I'm still a voter in the poll. You kept Harlingen in there.
I did.
Why?
Because they're still one of the 10 best teams in the Valley.
Wow, fair enough. All right.
You also kept them in there, Zandalos.
I did keep them in there. I kept them in there number 10 for pretty much the same reasons, and I hate to agree with you, but I did. Now, Dennis, you do not have a vote. Where would you have put Harlingen?
I would have kept them out.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
simply because we're talking about a team that's 0-2 that hasn't scored a touchdown already. And right now, looking at some other teams that, I think a lot of it is based on Harlingen's reputation at this point and what they've done in the past. And this season, to me, right now, they don't look like a top 10 team.
All right, that's fair enough. Peter, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, they're not a top 10 team.
Okay, I need to hear why.
Well, because, like Dennis said, they haven't scored any touchdowns, and from what I understand, they've not played very well. So I was actually kind of shocked and stunned that you guys voted for them in the top 10. Yeah. But you guys get votes. I don't get a vote. I get to add them up, and I was sitting there shocked. Yeah. Although Harlingen just barely got in. They only had 10 points, so they didn't get a lot of.
To be fair, we post-Sandalon, I put them 10th. It was our colleague
who also put them in the poll.
Yeah,
we'll just keep it there. We don't want to reveal people's votes if they don't want. Dave's not here, so he can't defend himself one way or the other. But now, ask you, Peter. You're vocal. You're a very vocal young man. You really think that Brownsville Veterans, who's number 8, could beat Harlingen? You really think so?
No, you're right. You're right. If you're going to start doing that, like who could be who, and then we get into the whole discussion about, well, should the 3A be in there? But if you guys are going by I think you guys are kind of sort of going by their reputation, and that's why they're in there. But you guys dropped McAllen Memorial, and they were the second best team last year, and they only lost by 3.
Wow.
And they played better than Harlingen from what I see. They may not be as good as they were last year, but obviously Harlingen isn't either. So my question is, why wouldn't McAllen Memorial not be in there, but Harlingen in there?
It's a decent point.
Because Harlingen
it's a decent point. It's the right point.
Harlingen lost to a San Antonio team and then lost to the number 2 team in the Valley.
Let's be honest. Everyone was talking about how this San Antonio team wasn't that great, and they lost 36-0. It's not like they played them close. Mm-hmm. They've only scored 3 points in 2 games, and from what I understand, they have not played that well.
Sounds like it.
And so
let's see how they play in district. Yeah.
Okay, but then that brings up a whole nother thing.
Yeah, we're about to get to that.
Very good district.
And just want to add about the top 10. I don't ever remember this. 17 teams got votes in the top 10. I don't remember anything.
It's very close. And Harlingen, this is just my own personal thing. I am not going to marry to the idea of raising them or putting them up high because they beat Rivera, they'll beat Pace or something like that.
Let's see what happens when they play those Fresnos or South.
I still think they're one of the 10 best teams, so I'm going to keep them in there. But if they only beat Rivera, which is not a great team, by 10 points or touchdown or something like that,
then you can knock them out.
Then that might change my opinion. Otherwise, I'm
open to knocking them out.
I'm anticipating a 35-42-0 type game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again.
But hey, for some Brownsville teams, that would be a close game.
That would be a close game.
Let's go to that is a very mean but perfect segue to 85-0 Brownsville Pace. Todd, you of course covered Brownsville last year. You covered a lot of the
Fun times.
the carousel, I guess, of
coaching
Brownsville.
carousel, yeah.
Now
the flow chart.
Now,
we never made a flow chart.
We never did, but did you see this coming with Pace? Did
Absolutely.
You see this?
It was absolutely going to happen. Brownsville ISD, the incompetence machine, gutted the Brownsville Pace program, which is why Coach Madrano left and went over to Hannah.
Right.
And they have one returning player.
Yeah.
So
And he's a center. It's not like he's a quarterback.
And he's an offensive lineman. So it's really unfortunate. The kids who are out there I commend them because they're going out there. They're young kids. They don't have any really varsity experience whatsoever, and they're going out there and they're giving it their all. And that's all you could really ask for them. But it's unfortunate that the kids are placed in this position, and it's unfortunate that William Dean, who's a good veteran coach, is placed in this position. And he was placed in limbo for about 4 or 5 months, being the interim coach. Couldn't hire any coordinators, and this is the product of Brownsville ISD, which has no idea how to run an athletic department.
Yeah, we just want to make clear that we're not ripping the kids, obviously.
Absolutely not ripping the kids.
We're ripping the so-called adults.
The adults and the politics are the blame for this, and that's it. And also not helping that Brownsville veterans, the zoning kind of gutted them for 2 years. They've supposedly changed the zoning, but
we'll see.
For the current upperclassmen, that was what happened.
Now, Dennis, I mean, you've obviously covered sports for a long time. You remember an 85-0 game like that, and then kind of like not even that, but just the blowback that seems like that has gone to Paul Reyes. He seems like he's under a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything like this?
I remember Laredo Alexander, specifically in the past, has been known to put up some numbers. I think in the past they beat Martin like 82-7 one year. And that was a team that actually did run it up. They had their starters in the middle of the fourth quarter. They kept passing and airing it out and piling up touchdowns and yards. So when I look at something like this, being familiar with what Alexander has done, I look at how long were the starters in, and apparently they were pretty much taken out at halftime.
Right. Yeah.
And what were you running? And for an aerial team that I understand
the NASCAR offense.
The NASCAR offense, for them to be pretty much running and handing off the second half, I think they pretty much did all they did to pretty much not try to embarrass Pace as much as they could have. So
it could have been in the hundreds, which
is
scary.
Easily.
Yeah.
Just
Easily.
scary. Now, and it's scary. I mean, Peter, I mean, you were in the office with me. No, wait, it was a Thursday night game. When you were in the office following the results, what were you thinking as you saw the scores 70, 75, 80, now 85? What were you thinking as that came through?
Well, I wasn't really thinking much.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
All right. Yeah.
Well, what I think I tweeted that they had beat them, and people were wondering whether or not Rowe was running at the score. I didn't think it was. I just thought that was the case. I just thought maybe the pace probably isn't that good. It's just unfortunate that it kind of got out of control there, and it was 85-0. But I mean, and Rowe. Let me reiterate, because I covered Rowe. That they pass a lot, and I mean the fact that they only passed 22 times tells you that they kind of reined it in a little, and they still score 85 points. But
now the scary thing I think for me is that this might not be the last time.
No, it's not.
This not be the last time. They got Harlingen, they've got South, they've got Los Fresnos, they've got South this week.
But again, with this situation, it's probably best you see 85-0, you get a little, whoa, what happened there? But let's just wait for the facts to come out of why it got to be 85-0. If they were running up the score, you kill them. If they're not, if it was just one of those things, then it's different.
I'm not sure some of these teams can even help it. That's the thing, that there's nothing they could do other than take a knee, which maybe, I hate to say it, might be the thing to do.
Unfortunately, after the 85-0,
they can't take a knee.
Why not? Why can't they take a knee?
Because then you're embarrassing the other team by just saying.
What's worse, 85-0 or a knee? What's worse?
Well,
it is high. They are 18, 17-year-old kids.
But if you take a knee,
you don't have to baby them.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your stats do get screwed up.
Your stats do get screwed up. Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're hoping for some more competitive games than 85-0. We'll ask the two beat writers here in the room. What games you looking forward to this week? I think I know what Todd's going to say, but
Pace, Harlingen, South.
Okay, other than Pace, Harlingen, South.
Obviously, it's the showdown at Cat Stadium on Friday. Edinburgh Economides and Edinburgh North, which is our game of the week here at the Monitor, and that is going to be a good one. Two 2-0 teams, two teams that nobody really thought was going to be 2-0 at this point in the year. When we were sitting around the office, I think last week, we kind of looked at the schedule like, San Benito and Calvin Memorial, that's our game of the week, and then As it turns out, Economies beats McAllen Memorial, and here we go. We got 2-0 teams, number 5 and number 6 in the poll.
Should be a very interesting.
And that's
game.
it turns into an interesting
Good
game.
to see Economides getting rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a team that's been down for a while. They're always kind of the third or now fourth wheel in Edinburgh, and they're 2-0, and they're doing some good things over there. So
good to see.
Good to see different teams stepping up and playing well.
Now, Dennis, 32-4A still is in non-district play. So what's the one game you're looking to?
There's a couple. PSJ Memorial is 2-0, has a chance to go 3-0, and Valley View is in the same.
You mean Southwest?
Southwest, I'm sorry. Yeah, has a chance to go 3-0. I want to see basically how those teams do. Those are pretty much two very run-oriented teams. They have yet to find a team that can stop the run game, and I want to see how they do against teams that can force them to beat them otherwise, and if they're legit or if these are just one-dimensional teams that can tear up a team that can't.
I'm not sure we're going to find out about either this week, though.
I don't think so either, but I want to see if they can continue the momentum.
Right. Gruya is playing Southwest, and then Valley View is
That'll
playing
be a good game,
Hidalgo,
yeah,
right?
and Southwest.
Whoever covers the Valley View Southwest game will be the luckiest man of the year because that game will be over in like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But now, Peter, you're looking like you want to say something. Do you have a game you're looking at, or are you just...
Well, I thought you would ignore me. That's what
I'm
you
not going to ignore you.
You
no.
just asked the two beat writers. And
Pete,
I thought,
you're
wow.
my editor.
Yeah.
I can't ignore
It
you.
sounded like he was crying right now,
I
right?
can't ignore you.
Did he just not sound like he was crying?
San Luis does whine about things sometimes.
I do whine.
I mean, I'm not a big North Edinburgh Economies fan. Because I used to cover Mac High and Row a lot, but I want to see that game because they always put up a lot of points against each other. So I think that could be a very interesting game. Let's see if Mac High is for real. People keep saying Mac High is for real. We'll see.
What about you, Samuel? You're 32-4A.
Of course, I'm going to say a former 32-4A beat reporter, so I'm going to talk about former 32-4A team, Wesco East.
Oh, okay.
Playing PSJ North. Wesco East apparently played pretty well against Cal Allen last week. Its first 5A game. It should be very interesting to see how it goes against PSJ North because that's a quintessential 5A program. Mm-hmm. I think Wesco East is going to win that game, too. I really think that Wesco East is going to be a lot better than we gave them credit for. If they were still in 4A, they probably would have been a top 5 team in the poll preseason, but they weren't. I think they're a pretty good team this year. And we thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at RGV Sports. Follow the RGV Week 2 hashtag. And, of course, like us on Facebook and join the conversation. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week.